Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. This side Rahul Magan here from Treasury Consulting LLP, and today we are going to speak about a topic which is how to hedge a masala bond sitting outside India, which is sub accounts using an offshore. So, as you understand that we have a brand which is Foreign Exchange Wavering Thinkers, which is connected in one of the ways is a YouTube channel. So, we are always giving videos on a new topic. So today we are talking about one of the interesting topics which is known as a masala bond. As you very well understand that India is facing a deep fund crisis, and because of that the Reserve Bank of India is in sync with the corporates, allowed them to issue INR denominated bonds at INR rate outside India. So basically what is masala bond? Masala bond is all about you issued INR denominated bond outside India for the people who are sitting outside India, which are generally foreign institutional investors. But unfortunately, masala bond is not turning out to be a very much not very much conducive to foreign institutional investors. The following is the reason. So today video will speak about that. Here we have taken an example of a Blackstone here. So let's go with an example. Now we are having a bank HDFC who issued masala bonds at 3000 crore at rupees 8 at the yield of 8.33%. So we very well understand they issued at 8.33%. First thing which we clearly need to understand that masala bond is facing an issue in India, which is that the rate at which you are issuing is higher than the rate at which you can issue in India itself. Plus there is an issue of withholding tax in that. So there are multiple issues related to masala bonds. But nonetheless, here we are in fact they raised at 8.33%. So, and suppose the investor is sitting in Singapore, which is Blackstone. We mentioned them as an offshore investor. So they are sitting in Singapore, they are Blackstone. So the net spread that we come later. Now Blackstone, how Blackstone will hedge this? We hereby assume that Blackstone would first transfer the money in India using their sub accounts, which is known as Blackstone India, and that Blackstone India will convert, assuming $10 million at the rate 68, which is 680 crores, and invest at the rate of 8.33%, which is principal only swap, right? But onshore hedging is keeping aside, so we are not taking onshore hedging right now, we are only talking about offshore. So let me repeat again, we have bank HDFC who is having masala bonds 3000 crore at the rate 8.33%. It went to the suppose an offshore investor Blackstone wanted to invest. They will send the money to India to its local subsidiary, which is Blackstone India, which is sister concern. That Blackstone India will invest $10 million at the rate 68, which is 680 crore, and give to HDFC Bank for investment, which HDFC Bank on which will give 8.33% return. Now how he would hedge his exposure of dollar exposure? He is completely naked. Naked in the sense that he cannot hedge his exposure. INR may go to 68 to 75, or it may go to 60. So he is completely exposed. Now he will go to a foreign bank, which is JP Morgan Singapore, and he will take, in the last video we had a word about forward contracts. This time we will talk about an option contract. This time he will take an option contract which is non-deliverable option, because we are here talking about offshore hedging. So in offshore everything is non-deliverable, so he will take a non-deliverable option which is known as NDO. In the non-deliverable option, he will take a buy call, because he wanted to buy dollars. He don't want to sell dollars, he wanted to buy dollars. What is buy call? You are having a right to buy, and suppose the spot is 70 and 1 year premium is 5. So what would be the outright? Outright it's 75. What is 1 year implied vols? Sitting today in USD INR offshore, 1 year implied vols is trading at 6.5%. So if we carefully see that this gentleman is earning 8.33% and 6.5% he is paying to bank, because he is taking a contract here. Now remember carefully, like in earlier video we specifically mentioned that non-deliverable forward contract would have 5 conditions. Number 1, it cannot be taken by Indian party. Blackstone Singapore is not an Indian party. It cannot be given up by an Indian bank. JP Morgan Singapore is not an Indian bank. There is no delivery of dollar. He is not delivering any dollar. Of course, there is no subsequent remittance of INR. There is no. The net settlement would happen in dollar, which we mentioned here that net spread would be 8.33% minus 6.5%, which is equals to 1.88% hash. No taxation impact. Now suppose INR turns 68 and this is RBI fixing. I hope you saw earlier videos wherein we clearly mentioned that once you take the non-deliverable contract, whether it is an option contract or whether it is a forward contract, if it is a non-deliverable option, non-deliverable forward or non-deliverable range forward, all three get settled via RBI fixing. RBI fixing is nothing but a rate which RBI is publishing 12:45 PM every day. It means Monday to Friday if there is no holiday. If there is a holiday, no fixing to be taken. The rate they are computing using which the spot rates which they are taking from the bank, and they have a certain methodology on which they calculate an average, and that average they will publish. This is RBI fixing. Currently RBI fixing is happening in USD INR, it's happening in GBP INR, it's happening in USD, Euro INR, it's happening in JPY INR. The four currencies. Since here one side dollar is involved, one side INR involved, so we will take the RBI fixing of USD INR. You have taken a contract for 1 year. Assuming after 1 year INR was 68, it effectively means you bought at 75, it was at 68. It means you have a loss of minus 7 rupee. Here you have minus 6, here you have minus 5. If it is turned out to be you bought at 75, it is 68, you have loss. You bought at 75, it turns out to be 69 minus 6. Bought at 75, it is minus. You bought at 62, 75, here it is minus 13, here it is minus 10. Suppose it will go to 80 INR, then you have a gain of 5 rupees. And that FX gain not to be calculated. That FX gain loss to be calculated in the net spread, which is here. 8.33% minus 6% minus FX gain loss. But how he can prevent this spread? How he can resolve that issue? That issue he can resolve using option moneyness. So at the money is, because spot is 70, premium is 5, so at the money is 75. And as we clearly understand that buy puts are always taken out of the money, so as buy call is always taken out of the money. So what this gentleman would does, he will go for out of the money. Now what would be out of the money? He will go for this is in the money. What he will do, he will go for say 80, and here he will go 82. So what he will do, he will go for, you wanted to buy, market is at 75, you wanted to buy at 80, so premium would be almost 0. Here your market is at 75, you wanted to buy at 82, that is deep out of the money. This is the only way he can prevent the FX loss. But the purpose of the video was very simple, that it is not advisable to invest in a masala bond because the FX hedging cost is very high, and considering the fact that the INR is reducing the repo rate over the period of time, the carry trade will also don't work, which is in USD and INR. So in nutshell, you have a bank who is issuing masala bond at 3,000 crore. An offshore investor, Blackstone, will invest that. Blackstone will try to cover himself in sitting in offshore. So they will go for non-deliverable option, which is buy call. They will take the buy call from a bank which is known as JP Morgan Singapore. Now JP Morgan Singapore will say, sir, wait, spot is 70, the premium is 5 rupees. So outright would be 75. Now this 75 of outright is at the money. Suppose you wanted to go for out of the money, then sir it is 80. You wanted to go for deep out of the money, then it is 82. Then subsequently after 1 year when the maturity would come, you would have a subsequent gain loss. Suppose it's turned out to be 68, you would have a gain loss of this and so on and so forth, because it is a non-deliverable. But this gain loss would come if you wanted to buy, because you had taken an option contract, so there is no point that you will face this gain loss. You can make it worthless because you have a right to buy, but not to mention that right to buy will come at the premium. So your net gain loss would be 8.33% minus 6.5% minus FX gain loss, which is notional, minus premium. this is X, and that X is currently 1.88%, lesser than 1.88%. So it is not advisable for the foreign institutional investors to invest in an Indian masala bond because the hedging cost is very high. And again, not to mention that there is still a lingering issue when it comes to masala bond, which is withholding tax. The next video would be covering how to create a carry trade while hedging a masala bond. So this was the video which presented by Treasury Consulting LLP to all our readers. You are most welcome to contact us at treasuryconsultingllp@gmail.com, and our alternate email ID is rahulmagan8@gmail.com. My cell number is 9899242978 and my Skype ID is rahul5327. But before winding up the video, Treasury Consulting LLP would like to make sure one simple fact to all those who are reading this video. While taking a masala bond, please take hedging cost into consideration, because if you are not taking hedging cost into consideration, then you are playing with fire. So please be careful while doing that trade in the market. Thank you and have a great day.